Sometimes my bipolar makes me insane, okay?
Maybe people with disabilities will always just be abnormal.
We really need to stick together on this.
Hi, my name is Kotto. I'm going to be playing George.
Hi, I'm Julia Sinks. I play the part of Joanna.
And I'm Evan Daganhardt, and I'm playing the role of Justin.
I thought of this scenario where a friend helps out a friend who really needs help, but then it became, wait a minute, disability, right? Like this person, what does this person have to help to have this other person help that out? And then I thought, I'm so surrounded by disabilities all over the place.
It is meant to inspire those with disabilities that they can do anything. I mean, even famous people out there have disabilities.
I wanted to show that, show how those with disabilities can help each other out. Justin says it in the narration. He says, it's hard feeling different with people who feel different.
Any kind of disability, I think, is a difficult subject, possibly because most, or at least many of them, tend to be unrecognized in people, unless that person is crippled.
It's not a disability. I don't even like that word. You know what I mean? It's gifts.
Yeah.
They're gifts. And I hope that people that don't know anything about these disabilities or gifts will kind of just understand a bit more and just get a bit of a glimpse into that world.
I play Joanna's mother. My daughter in the film has one of the social disabilities. And like many parents, I want her to fit in. I want her not to suffer. I want her to be happy. But by doing so, I am not considering her disability. And I just want her to snap out of it and be normal and go out with her friends. When in reality, her struggle, her fear, prevent her from doing that so easy.
What compelled me was just the message behind it, the truth behind it, and how it can really shed light on a topic not many people like to discuss.
I was diagnosed with Asperger syndrome my freshman year of high school, and I battled it ever since, and it's developmental. So I am not where I was with it, where I was before. Before I had super heavy directional problems.
So ADHD is a pretty tough disease to keep focused and really work through. There's been a lot of hardships for me. Just not being able to focus and not being able to really complete work.
I personally have ADHD. I was diagnosed with it when I was younger, and there's actually a lot of similarities with regards to ADHD and Asperger's. So I mean, it wasn't that hard for me to connect to the kind of the kind of quirks that come with it, other than with Asperger's and ADHD. The difference is Asperger's is more the energy is channeled within yourself, and ADHD is more out towards people. So I mean, in that regard, I kind of that is what that's the best way the most I connected with my character, and it kind of made it a lot easier.
Most, or at least many of them, tend to be unrecognized in people, unless that person is crippled. If there's a strong disfigurement or something of that nature, which means that if there's any kind of behavior on that person's part that isn't quite normal, people tend to judge you. And that's not a good thing, because that's not right.
Playing this part, playing this character that I can somewhat relate to is really cool. So it's moments like these and characters like this that really make acting, I would say, pretty awesome.
I have a learning disability, which means I have a hard time listening a lot of times. I get distracted. I get off pace.
I do have a disability myself, even though I don't look like one. I mean, I've been seen as such by a school psychiatrist when I was in elementary school, and I was placed in resource programs.
Asperger people tend to do it. We're very, we focus on one or two things, and we soar in it. We can solve world hunger, but we can't go to the grocery store and back, right? It's that kind of a thing, really.
I can use what I've learned through my experience with ADHD to help others with ADHD. just by teaching them that not to let anything get you down, but to let God handle it. Let go and let God.
There's not a lot of bipolar characters in the media, so you have to be very careful how you portray them because that's how a lot of people learn about them.
Totally.
So I wanted to do it justice and show her humanity.
I really love the crew because a lot of us have disabilities of some sort, you know. I mean, everyone's affected one way or the other.
It's a lot on your shoulders, you know, and especially because we're playing real characters, you know, based on real people, you know what I mean? And they were around us the whole time when we were doing when we were shooting. So that especially, but it was just so incredibly rewarding, you know. I've done a lot of other kind of stuff, you know, I've worked behind the camera as well. And I just feel that like acting is always challenging.
I definitely feel more comfortable in comedy, so this was already kind of a step out on the ledge. So that's kind of exciting, and it was cool to have the opportunity to do something very uncomfortable and very high stakes.
Yeah, to be able to give, like you can just give so much to people through acting, and you can impact people's lives, and you don't even know you're doing it, you know. From what I've seen, what I've experienced, sometimes these independent features are actually like, there's more passion put into it, because I mean, almost always actually, because it's all hard, because the budget is like minimal, you know, so you've really got to be creative, and the people that are there doing it,
everyone's volunteering.
They're volunteering, and they really want to be there.
It's just fun.
It became how you know, as we're trying to help fellow disabled people to overcome their disabilities and grow and realize who they are, you know, this would be an example of that.
I've dealt a lot with depression, anxiety. I've dealt with a lot of being insecure at times. That's why I felt like I should have been part of this, and I'm glad to be part of this community.
I hope this film inspires people with ADHD. In that they know that they aren't alone, that they know that actually they can help other people with other disabilities as well. Like Justin has done with George, and like I've done with my best friend Matthew Richards.
If people with disabilities can help each other out, people with disorders, then, you know, like how much healing will happen, how much will they get along better. And so I really wanted to show that for those with disabilities.
And I think this is an amazing inspiration to just inspire other people and want them to feel like they're not alone, because I've been through it. And I just want this project to seem like it can inspire someone to follow dreams even though they have a disability.
It'd be really cool to show people that do have, you know, ADHD, they're bipolar, you know, they have Asperger's, that when you actually team up with those kids, something pretty positive can happen.
And so I hope that this brings about that desire for better communication, that understanding, so that everyone can enjoy each other, and everyone, so that, you know, we can spot it, we can see the need based on whoever, you know, whatever degree that they're at with their disability, and just you know, reel them in to become their highest potential, and see their disability as a gift and not a curse.
And maybe that people can celebrate those differences.
Honestly, I feel like you're capable of being someone and should actually not do something.
What I'm hoping, you know, for this film is that they don't have to be in the shadows any more than they really have to. Just be yourself, get out there, and just make friends.
I would hope that people would find a little more truth and enlightenment regarding the subject of disability, seeing that within the society in which we live, it's probably a lot more normal.
Particularly for people that don't struggle with any of these issues, just because they can relate to any of these characters on some level.
Often what happens to disabled people is they can be shoved aside, depending on where they're at. They can also be thought of as having less because disability is seen as a defect rather than a potential for a strength. Adapting to a disability automatically means that if you can, you have strengths that other people do not have access to, simply because it forces you into the position of battling it every day.
What I hope that people with disabilities take away from this is that they can relate to the characters, you know, because there aren't many films being made for them, and it will just, you know, I think it'll make them feel special, you know.